The incredible Kailash Temple at Ellora. 200,000 tons of solid rock excavated from a single hill. The largest monolithic structure in the world.
This is just a very skilled, very, very remarkable and utterly beautiful creation of pure genius.
The Deccan Traps in West Central India. Volcanic activity sculpted this land over 75 million years ago, creating mighty ridges of hard basalt rock. On one such hill is a monument like no other. The Kailashnath Temple, the world's largest monolithic structure.
The monument, which astonishes everyone and is really one of the great wonders of the Indian world, is the Kailashnath Temple. It left future generations simply astonished at the ambition, the achievement, the refinement, and the elegance of the people that built it.
It is a rock-cut marvel with no equal.
The greatest sculptors took a hillside the size of a cricket stadium and burrowed out 2 million cubic feet of stone, leaving in the middle this enormous temple of solid stone, done with incredible precision and such skill and artistry.
The Kailashnath Temple is part of the 34 Hindu, Jain and Buddhist monasteries and shrines, known as the Ellora Caves in northwestern Maharashtra. The complex has been categorized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Ellora has more than 32 caves, but it is truly the cave number 16, which has the Kailashnath Temple, that clearly makes it outstanding across the world.
The 1,200-year-old temple has been studied by countless researchers from across the world. Yet, aspects of Kailash's construction are still a mystery. One of its many secrets came to light about 100 years ago. In the 1920s, a set of inscriptions on copper plates were found in Baroda, modern-day Gujarat. The relics were ancient, over 1,000 years old. In the inscriptions is a reference to King Krishna I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty, who constructed a temple at Ellora so wondrous that even the gods were astonished. Many scholars believe that it was Krishna who is to be credited for making the Kailashnath Temple. Others believe that it may have been Krishna's father, Danti Durga, that began the project, which was then continued by his son. What is generally agreed is that it was the Rashtrakuta kings.
It's a measure of the riches of monuments in India that one of India's very greatest monuments is built by a dynasty whose name is almost unknown in modern metropolitan India. Who talks about the Rashtrakutas today? Yet the Rashtrakutas were one of the most important dynasties in the history of the Deccan.
The Rashtrakutas ruled between the 6th and 10th centuries. At its height, their kingdom stretched from South Karnataka all the way to Kannauj in what is now Uttar Pradesh. Their finest contribution to architecture is the Kailashnath Temple, located near Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar in Maharashtra. The ancient Rashtrakuta builders created the massive structure out of a single hill of basalt rock. The east-facing Kailashnath Temple complex is 300 feet long and 175 feet wide. There are several chambers or mandaps that surround the inner sanctum or the Garbhagriha. The main gathering hall is 70 feet by 62 feet. Complex architectural features, like a rock-cut bridge, joins a two-storied gateway or gopuram to the temple interior. The shikhar The tallest part of the structure rises 96 feet high. Adding to its grandeur are two giant 70-foot pillars or stumps on either side of the entranceway. On the first level stand gigantic elephants. It is on their backs that the temple is symbolically supported. The base has a deep shelf cut into the rock that runs all the way around the temple complex. These galleries have sculpted panels carved into the living rock.
We are used to digital means, but you can imagine thousands of years back how the crafts guild would have actually visualized it in this complete mountain outcrop that you see to that precision. You would need to imagine the whole form, and you would need to know the depth and the width.
Inside the main gathering hall are huge, elaborately ornate pillars. The sheer size leaves the viewer in awe. The Garbhagriha, or sanctum, contains a giant shivling. The temple would have been an ambitious project, even if it were constructed conventionally, brick by brick. But what we know of its creation makes its very conception mind-boggling. Not one stone was brought in to build the temple. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It was carved out of a single colossal stone.
What I love about the Kailash is it's not just the vast imperial scale and the magnificence of kind of maximum sculpture, which this is. It's in the little details.
1,200 years ago, builders and artists not only carved a hill into a man-made marvel, but also adorned its every nook and corner. There are sculptures everywhere. Shiva in his many forms, goddesses and great beasts, scenes from the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Bhagavad Puran, and the remains of grand murals.
The Rashtrakutan king who built it, Krishna I, who was the son of Danti Durga, was an extraordinary and passionate Shaivite. Although there are many deities represented on the walls of the Kailasha, it is Shiva himself who is the principal deity here.
The temple has sculptures of other deities too. The south side of the temple is primarily dedicated to Shiva, while the north side contains many images of Lord Vishnu. Alongside all the superlatives that the Kailasha temple has earned over the centuries, the big question remains: how did they do it? We can only theorize. There are no definite answers.
Did they start from the top to the bottom? Did they mark every level?
Historians believe that the excavation and chiseling could have taken up to a century to complete. Several patrons kept the project going. Was one master plan created at the start and then followed by generation after generation of builders and artisans for 100 years?
It's quite possible that these craftspeople would have trained their children, and it's possible that it was families and crafts guilds that were involved who would be passing it on to the next generation. So the child has an understanding of the carving that is going on and then picks up, and then it goes into the next generation.
The hill the builders selected was a single giant rock. Their genius lay in the ability to visualize in 3D such a complex architectural plan. It is believed that they chiseled from the top downwards, bit by bit, and generation after generation, they created the largest rock-cut monolith of the world. Exact figures cannot be known, but it is estimated that about 150 to 200,000 tons of rock was cut out. Where this huge amount of excavated rock went is another enduring mystery. No debris or traces remain anywhere. The superhuman success of this ancient architectural project has led to much debate. Some have even suggested that this could have been the work of extraterrestrials.
I get slightly irritated when I look online and you see people talk about, was it built by aliens? Did they have power tools? How on earth could people in ancient India have built this? It must have been, superpowers or whatever. If you look at the history of Indian carving in stone, it is an astonishing story.
The list of India's incredible rock-cut wonders, spectacular stone structures and carvings is long and spans millennia. To credit aliens for this work is to be unfair to the genius of ancient Indians.
We are undermining, we are undervaluing the ability of our own sculptors, builders, their knowledge, their creativity, their know-how.
This is just a very skilled, very, very remarkable and utterly beautiful creation of pure genius.
It is as much an example of a wealth of knowledge and craftsmanship, now lost to time.